watching Cougar Tracks Game Day, powered by Bank of American Fork.
All right, welcome on into Cougar Tracks Extra Game Day. Alex Kirry here in Salt Lake City. Dave Noriega, of course, down in Provo. He was witness to the amazing offensive output that BYU had tonight. Dave, you were down there shooting the game thanks to your TV duties. But what did you see in this game? Just first blush reaction. We haven't been able to talk since the end of the game. Tell me what you saw.
Well, I was really impressed with the punting game of both teams. I didn't realize a punt could be so entertaining. Unless you were not entertained by punts, then you thought this was the most boring game ever. I cannot believe how inept the offense just continues to look. I kept telling you, this game is going to tell us a lot about this team. You know, you get some of the nerves out, you start figuring out the offense, and what we've learned is this offense, not very good.
Well, look, I think a lot of folks ended up being pretty depressed after the game. I mean, this is going to be the Sports According to Twitter segment right now.
Sports According to Twitter.
Here was the first one that I saw. Every Twitter reaction that I saw from fans was take out Taysom, put in Tanner. And the problem I have with that is I told you, and people came after me, Dave. They said, I can't believe you're put me in such a Taysom lover on this one. He's not throwing well. Take him out of the game. And you know me, I was the guy who called for Tanner to start before the year. So, but the problem is that an offensive line issue that you have, your offense cannot cover anybody.
Right.
They cannot block anybody. And so you're asking your offensive line to block for a quarterback that's going to come in and throws really well, but you can't protect him. That's still not going to help anything. So there are other things that need to get fixed before you start really just going after Taysom, although he was off target sometimes, but there were some awful drops too.
Yeah, there were some bad drops. One of the things that I think we've really noticed is whenever Taysom drops back and is just a pocket passer, his accuracy is really not there. What opens the receivers up is when he starts scrambling, and then all of a sudden the defense goes into panic mode. The linebackers start creeping up a little bit, the defense softens up, and that's when we saw him have a little success in the second half, is when he got a little bit more mobile and started completing some passes that way. But there's just no getting around it. He's very inaccurate. He's been very inaccurate to start the games in the first halves of the season, and really it's not until the final drives of the game that he really settles in. When he has a tempoed, really fast, go hard type offense, that's when he is at his most successful. And it's I don't know. One of the things in post game that I thought was really interesting is Kalani Sitake actually addressed the fact that they talked amongst themselves as a coaching staff about whether it was time to make a change. Do we bring in Tanner Mangum? And it was shocking that he gave us a little peek behind the curtain that it's actually been a conversation amongst the coaching staff.
Well, and if we're going to really start to break this one down too, because you've got 18 points the first game, 19 points the second game, you go 14 against UCLA, really good UCLA team. This defense was crazy. Positives out of this game, Butch Pau'u. We said it beforehand. I mean, the guy had 18 tackles and led the team before the game tonight, and then ended up having 19 just tonight, 11 unassisted just tonight.
Wing back to the right. Stretch handoff, Stevens running right. And he's met and driven back. That looked like a Butch Pau'u play. Indeed it was. Butch Pau'u, he fills and hits in a certain way where you know it's number 38.
This is a guy that is basically, I mean, he's going to keep winning these Defensive Player of the Week crowns, and it's not showing for any wins in the last couple of weeks, and he says that the team's going to be fine. Everything looks okay, but that guy is a beast, Dave.
Oh, he's been unbelievable, and you could just feel the electricity. Every time that guy put a helmet on somebody, the entire crowd just oohed and awed, and it was just really a showstopper every time that guy hit, and it seemed like he got about half the tackles. One of the things that really stood out to me afterwards is everyone's depressed, everyone's sad, the team goes off the field, and here's Butch Pau'u making the laps around the stadium, and he's going all the way around the stadium, high-fiving people, telling them thanks for coming to the game, taking pictures. And I'm just, man, I couldn't believe it. 19 tackles, 11 unassisted, and he's the last guy on the field still giving the fans love.
Well, okay, now's the moment of truth, Dave, where we embarrass ourselves thoroughly.
We'll
I know
do a
you
lot
might
better
be used-
when the wins start piling up. I think our predictions will be much better on wins.
I know you might be used to more like grades along these lines, in high school and in college, but I was never used to these kinds of grades. So let's go over some of our predictions. I said Taysom Hill, yardage-wise, would throw for 272 and run for 68. He threw for 250 and ended up rushing for -7, Dave, on the evening. His first career negative rushing night. You said, I want to say 220 through the air.
Yeah, 220 and 40, I thought.
And then you also said 40 rushing?
Yeah.
And so we were both off pretty bad on some of those. Now, you said kind of
I
cool.
was not good. You were awful. You were terrible. I mean,
listen,
your grades
I was closer
were
on the
awful.
yardage. I was closer on the passing yardage than you.
I was 225. We were exactly the same distance away.
You did not. You were not 245. We're going to go back
I said
to the
225. I said 225. You
225.
said 275, and he went 250.
No, I said 272.
Oh, okay,
I
you
said
beat me by
272.
3 yards. All right.
There you go.
Okay.
I said wins
You
a win.
owned me
All right,
by
so look,
3 yards.
So I said that BYU would force 2 turnovers in the predictions. They forced 1 turnover. They were close on a couple of occasions, but they forced 1. But you also predicted Kai Nakua would come in surprisingly quiet. Didn't even, after the ovation from the crowd, he didn't even show up, it seemed like, in the second half at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Did he even register a defensive stat? I didn't see a tackle or an interception or anything. I think that's one of the things that happens is you come in, you get punished, and it's hard to get your mind right. And he came in, and he just didn't seem like the same guy. Maybe it was the fact that the defense was just playing really well, and Josh Rosen didn't really test the safeties. But you're right. I kind of whiffed on Kai Nakua making an impact when he came back.
All right, and then, of course, the really embarrassing part, the point predictions. I went 34-20 on my prediction with a BYU win. And you went with the
24-23.
What'd you do? 23-24?
24-23, yeah.
Both of us said BYU could get the W. It turned out that we could have hung out in Vegas because they again called it. They put UCLA at about 3.5 point favorites, and UCLA gets the win, 17-14.
So another loss in the books, 1-2 for the Cougars. Next game is against West Virginia. We'll see if they can turn the ship around and even things up. For Cougar Tracks Extra Game Day, I'm Dave Noriega, Alex Kirry in the studio.
Cougar Tracks Game Day is powered by Bank of American Fork. Big city banking, small town service.